Can a simple mistake change everything? He thought it was just a scheduling error, an accident. But what happened inside that rundown school, in the hands of a young teacher, would open his eyes and his heart in ways no boardroom ever had. It all started on a rainy Monday morning in Chicago. The streets were slick with last night's storm, and downtown traffic was already a nightmare. David Lane, a high-powered tech CEO, sat in the back seat of his black SUV, scrolling through emails as his driver navigated their way to his daughter's new school. His 6-year-old daughter, Emily, clutched her backpack tightly beside him. David had just finalized a merger over the weekend, $400 million in equity shift, 8 hours of conference calls, and 3 canceled dinners with his daughter later. He was now trying to balance a cappuccino in one hand and a phone in the other. "Sir, we're here," the driver said, pulling up to a modest, aging building with chipped bricks and a rusted playground fence. David barely looked up. "Right, drop her off and tell the front desk her name's Emily Lane. Her records should already be sent over." The driver hesitated. "Sir, this doesn't look like—" David waved him off. "She'll be fine. I need to get on a call. Just make sure she's safe." And just like that, Emily was walked through the front doors of Ridgeview Elementary, not Ridgeway Academy, the private institution with security gates and gourmet lunches. Ridgeview was underfunded, understaffed, and largely forgotten by the city. A place most parents in David's circle didn't even know existed. Inside, Emily looked around nervously. The hallways were dim. Paint peeled from the walls. A janitor offered her a kind smile as he mopped near a leaky window. But before she could panic, a voice called out, bright, warm, and clear. "Hi there. You must be our new friend." It was Miss Olivia Harper, a 25-year-old first-grade teacher with more heart than experience. She had noticed right away that Emily's designer coat and sparkling shoes didn't quite match the usual wardrobe of Ridgeview students. But the fear in the girl's wide eyes tugged at something deeper. Olivia knelt to Emily's level. "My name's Miss Harper. What's yours?" "Emily," the little girl whispered. "Well, Emily, I've saved you a seat right next to my desk. Want to come see it?" Emily nodded slowly. As Olivia led her into the classroom, something remarkable began to unfold. The room was chaotic, but filled with life. Posters made by hand, mismatched desks, crayons spilling from reused coffee tins. But it felt safe, warm, real. Olivia introduced Emily to the class, and within minutes, one little boy slid a paper heart across his desk toward her. It simply read, "You can sit with me." Meanwhile, back at his office, David continued his day as if nothing had happened. He didn't realize until pickup that something was off. "Where's the receptionist?" he muttered, stepping inside the building. "Why is there graffiti on the lockers?" A teacher noticed him and approached. "Can I help you, sir?" "I'm here for Emily Lane. She started today." "Oh," the teacher said, blinking. "You must mean the new girl in Miss Harper's class." He paused. "She's wonderful, sharp, kind. Made a few friends already." David stared, confused. This is Ridgeview Elementary, right?" The teacher smiled. "Yes, sir. One of the best-kept secrets in the city." David's jaw tightened. There's been a mistake. Miss Harper was waiting by the classroom door when he got there. Emily was inside, coloring with 2 other children. She hadn't even noticed him yet. Miss Harper extended her hand. "You must be Mr. Lane. Emily's had a fantastic day." He blinked. "Listen, I'm afraid this wasn't supposed to happen. She was meant to go to Ridgeway Academy." Olivia kept her tone light. "That explains the Gucci backpack. But I'm glad she came here." He glanced into the classroom again. His daughter was laughing. Actually laughing. "I appreciate the kindness," he said stiffly, "but I'll be making arrangements to transfer her first thing tomorrow." "Of course," Olivia said gently. "But would you mind asking her first?" David sighed and walked inside. "Emily, sweetheart, come on. Time to go." She looked up. "Can I come back tomorrow?" He blinked. Why would you want to? She tilted her head. Miss Harper says I'm really good at reading. No one ever said that before. David froze. His daughter, whom he thought he knew so well, was glowing in a place he had deemed unworthy without even stepping inside. That night, David sat in silence at his penthouse table, watching Emily fall asleep on the couch with her crayon drawing clutched in her hand. It was a picture of her, Miss Harper, and two new friends, all smiling. For the first time in years, David canceled a morning meeting. The next day, instead of transferring Emily, he asked to speak to the principal of Ridgeview. What he heard astonished him. Teachers were using their own money for supplies. Students shared outdated textbooks. The library didn't even have heat in the winter. And yet Olivia Harper was spending her evenings tutoring struggling students. For free. She tutors? David asked. Yes, said the principal. 3 nights a week. She even bought a microwave for the staff room with her own paycheck. Says it's the little things that matter. David didn't say much, but that evening, he drove to the school, alone, and waited by the entrance. When Olivia walked out, startled to see him, he said, "Walk with me." They strolled in silence for a moment before he spoke. You know I could have her transferred to the best school in the state. Olivia nodded. I figured, but she doesn't want to leave. And maybe I don't want her to either. Olivia smiled. She's a bright soul, and she needs more than just academics. David stopped walking. You're young. You could teach anywhere. Why here? Her eyes softened. Because I was once her. Single mom. Grew up a few blocks from here. A teacher once believed in me. Changed everything. I guess I'm trying to return the favor. In that moment, something cracked open in David. The hardened CEO who once measured success by profit margins suddenly felt humbled and inspired. The following week, David did something no one expected. He showed up at the school board meeting and pledged a $1 million fund. Not for Ridgeway, not for tax write-offs, but for Ridgeview Elementary and 5 other underfunded schools in the city. He didn't stop there. He launched a program pairing tech professionals with public school teachers to provide mentorship and updated tools. Miss Harper, she declined the offer to be promoted or relocated. Instead, she asked for newer books and better chairs for her students. And Emily? She flourished. She read aloud at the winter recital. She joined the school garden club. She no longer had nightmares or asked if Daddy was too busy for dinner. Months later, during a classroom open house, Emily held her dad's hand and dragged him to Miss Harper. Daddy, guess what? She beamed. Miss Harper says I could be a teacher one day too. David looked at Olivia. I think the world needs more like her. And Olivia smiled. I think you just made sure of that. Sometimes the greatest lessons in life don't come from the top floors of glass buildings. They come from old classrooms with broken heaters and teachers who refuse to give up. Before you go, what would you have done if your child walked into the wrong school? Would you have pulled them out or leaned in and listened? If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, watch our next story. She fed a boy with no lunch. What his father did the next day left everyone in tears. Because kindness isn't just powerful, it's contagious.